And we're back.
We were never, we were, we were, we were never here to begin with. But hey everybody, really quick, we're here for the next group week of the podcast. There's things turning in the background for the future of this podcast. At least I'm thinking about it anyway right now. None of it's gonna like take a hold until like an anime comes to an end. We'll get to that when we get to it. The reason why it took an hour for me to come out of standby was we were, I guess, talking, and I guess I just said screw it. I don't care anymore. If I have something to say negatively about the incoming presidency, I probably will say it. We were just talking about what happened earlier, which by the time this podcast comes out will be completely dated. But the inauguration, my goodness, I feel sorry for like the trans community. I was just also informed that like there was something I didn't know about that was a part of that, and I was like, geez. I guess hold strong for the next 4 years. I would say we just look for an impeachment, but the last time we did that, it didn't work because he was still in the White House.
Yeah.
He also lied under oath again, and nobody called him out on it. I was scratching my head the entire time because like this guy, and then like not even like I like up there in his like Congress, whatever he had up there were so many punchable faces, like from Zuckerberg to Elon Musk. Elon Musk's face was very punchable, by the way.
Yes, it is. Zuckerberg's is very like steal your lunch money.
I want to punch him in the face too, because it's just like, not that I used Facebook, but his, as you can tell, like I really don't like billionaires.
They turned off fact checking for Facebook now.
Yeah, well, that was before the inauguration. He already been working on that for a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a sad day in America.
Trump is putting an end to government DEI. Do you know what that is?
I had to look that up last week, but gender diversity, equality, and inclusion.
And race.
I mean, obviously it was race, but they don't talk about that. Then the new boogeyman is gender. They just like throw the slip.
Gender, sexual orientation, race, pretty much anything. Any minority. This is what it's supposed to cover.
And they're gonna promote on merit. And none of the black people or whatever Chinese like, that are Hispanic, like Latino, none of those people got their jobs by merit. It was because of their race.
Mm-hmm. And now that the president's ending DEI for the government, a lot of corporations are also stopping there, like McDonald's and Walmart.
Yeah, also to bring up McDonald's. Sounds like McDonald's stuff.
And Walmart have stopped their DEI programs too. But Costco and Target and some other company like went out and said that like they're standing by theirs.
I think it was the Daily Show that kind of made fun of them because it was like McDonald's specifically is like McDonald's is the one place that they don't have to worry about Trump hating them no matter what they do. Like Trump will always like them. I was laughing so hard because I was like, yeah, yeah, he's right. He's like, any like this is just Trump. Any place that's got a Big Mac is good with me. They're good people. Like they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a Big Mac, a medium fry, and a Diet Coke.
Who said that?
I'm just saying that's kind of like his viewpoint. That's just
Yeah.
Trump's viewpoint on McDonald's. I guess on the bright side, we're going to space. Anyone?
Mars. He wants to go to Mars. Yeah.
Well, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, but yeah.
Trump brought it up too.
I know I saw when he brought it up. I just like they really focused on Elon being a fanboy back there. Oh, I guess speaking of,
Elon did the Nazi salute to Trump.
oh, he did. I saw that Elon Nazi was trending, but I didn't know what that was about.
Yeah, he did the Nazi salute, just real casual, like twice.
You know, on Elon Musk, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of negative Elon talk for the next 4 years. I'm actually here for it.
Elon's gonna love it.
Huh?
Elon's gonna love it. He loves negative talk about him.
Okay, fine.
He loves proving how invincible he is and untouchable, and he loves the hate because it can't do anything to him.
I'm gonna try to do better to not like to give into the hate, but it's just gonna be with this new administration. It's gonna be impossible. It really is gonna be impossible. It's just like to like lead into the. It's like with Sidious. Yes, give into the hate. Feed me. I just like. I despise billionaires. That's never changed in the last couple years. I'm gonna keep on saying this, and I'm probably gonna keep on saying it. I'm so sorry for the people who are gonna hear me say this over and over again. Like I should probably make that to a T-shirt. I'm not going to. I don't want to have to deal with that like overhead. But I despise billionaires because they only look out for themselves and other billionaires. The people below them.
Okay, billionaires. Like Bill Gates is a pretty good billionaire.
Microsoft gave money to the inauguration.
Yeah, well, he also gives a lot of money to charity. Like half his money goes to charity.
I'm pretty sure Bill Gates has got some skeletons in his closet. And I'm not gonna sit there and say that I don't like it's. I use Microsoft. I'm running this entire thing off of Windows 11. Just so like I mean, what can I say? I use his stuff, so. Even Tim Cook is giving stuff over, and I'm like, geez. I guess Steve Jobs wouldn't care. I don't know. I guess we'll see what Trainwreck. Speaking of Trainwrecks before we move on to the anime, because we only got like how much time? Shoot,
Half an hour.
So I'm gonna end this here with this comment. I had a comment, I completely lost it.
That was your comment that you're ending it with?
No, I had a comment that I was going to end everything with, but I completely forgot. Oh, no, that's what it is. Speaking of train wrecks, tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Boy, oh boy, well, I guess at 8 o'clock. I'm not sure when this is going to happen, but I know he's already started signing, executive orders on ICE people coming into people's houses and taking the immigrants out. Like, that's going to be a hellscape. People who thought that the first time he did it was bad, you haven't seen nothing yet. All those families, all those children. Like, speaking of that, like he's ending birthright citizenship, which by the way, apparently he can't do that because it's in the Constitution. So we'll see what happens with that. But like, that's his plan, is to end birthright citizenship. This man's crazy. Like, the American people, like the people that put him in there, do not know what they signed themselves for. Los Angeles is gonna have a tough time recovering from the wildfires. I want you all to remember that the people who voted him in there. You killed California. Well, maybe not, but just if we're going like over the top alarmism, so I guess where I'm gonna go with that. Like, you've killed California. Apparently that's like one of the biggest states, like biggest donor states ever, and it's got a huge majority of like it's blue. And part of the reason why they're doing what they're doing is because they didn't vote for Trump. So, yeah. That's who you got in the White House, people. I sure hope Newsom's able to do what he needs to do. But with that being said, or not said. Hey, what the heck? Weird. I thought I had a second screen. We'll worry about that. I'll worry about that next time. Probably must have deleted it. Whoops. See, Rurouni Kenshin, next episode, season 2. Not much happened other than, well, they called it Misao's decision, so we had a little bit of like that. What do you think of that Okina was still alive and that we had what's her name? The doctor from the first season come.
Oh,
like,
shit, I don't remember.
What's her name? I completely forgot her name. Is it Kaguya? Not it. Is it?
No, it's not. It begins with an M.
Not Miko.
Megumi.
Yeah, Megumi. Like, you think about Megumi showing up and helping save Okina. I didn't expect her to show up though. I was not gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. I was not expecting her to show up. So when she showed up, I was like, oh, that's how they're gonna include her in the anime. I was like wondering if we're gonna not see her at all the entire season. That's cool. We got a chance to see her. Let's see here. We have Misa making the decision that she's gonna lead the Oniwa like Bond gang. I guess like in Okina's absence. Everybody's talked about that. Like I did that gag where she was started undressing in that room, and they like all the guys like had to look away. Apparently, the total of 2 guys that were apparently in that dojo.
Yeah.
What, the Yahiko look away? Never mind. I ain't gonna go into that. I don't even know if he did. I don't remember if he did or not.
I wouldn't have looked away. She didn't say to look away.
The women did. You have to listen to them. Oh, she's not legal, by the way. So what you just, never mind. Oh yeah, Ayoshi showed up at the thing, and actually that's kind of why Megumi showed up. Apparently, Megumi had followed Ayoshi. I'm guessing that's what they were assuming, because she just showed up out of nowhere behind him. After Ayoshi was looking around for Kenshin, and spooked everybody, and apparently even spooked Misao, which I felt bad for her because she just saw the guy that she loves murder, her grandfather. And I'm like, jeez.
Yeah.
But it seems like too, like based off of that whole like what happened with Megumi just showed up out of nowhere like that. Like it almost seemed like, at least to me, that maybe Ayoshi had planned this. Like he was planning to slaughter Okina, but he wasn't intending to kill him. That's why I'm gonna take it, because there's no clarification to I don't know where Megumi got there so fast or whatever. Because according to her, the doctor that she was apprenticing under told her that she can come up here. But I don't think they were aware.
He's to have not killed him unless he to have accidentally have not killed him.
Repeat that again. In its entirety.
He was too good to not accidentally not have killed somebody. Like if he wanted to kill them, they'd be dead. So I agree with you that he probably left him alive on purpose.
Oh, you say he's too good to have not accidentally killed. Okay, I was like, that took my brain a minute to wrap my head around that.
Yes, he's skilled.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it just seems kind of weird with Megumi showing up. I was like, geez, that's really interesting. It almost alludes that Megumi might have followed him, but if she did, we would have seen her. So I don't know what's going on with the timing of Megumi showing up, but hey, she's here. Also, like, Megumi and Kaoru had their moment, and Kaoru saying that she's happy that she's there, and I mean Megumi apologizing to her about like her scolding her about coming up here, and she didn't follow, I guess. It was nice. They had their little moment, together, which was nice. Most of the group is with us. We're still missing one person, which actually, by the way, in the same episode, we figure out where he's at. I think I asked this last week where the heck Sanosuke is. If I didn't, I meant to. But Sanosuke and his Sanosuke wig was in jail. But apparently he got caught on purpose because he was trying to meet up with Vegeta. And the not Vegeta, Fujita, Fu.
Sorry about Vegeta.
Fujita, I think is his name. The guy, the wolf samurai dude. Apparently, he had been called away to the police, or so I guess to a police station, for somebody. But then he had walked past it. He had walked past a jail cell and noticed that Sanosuke was in there. And Sanosuke was like, this is exactly where you are. I was looking for you. And then, like, in everything that aggravates Sanosuke, he ignores him and walks past him. And then he just breaks the wooden bars, by the way. I don't know how they keep prisoners in jail in that time period. Wooden bars don't seem that strong. But like he broke it with his fist, and then like Vegeta's like looking at the remains of the jail cell, and he's like, "What happened to you learning defense?" Sanosuke just looked at him and he just smirked. I thought it was kind of funny. It's just their interaction was probably the purest amount of like FU energy I've actually seen from Sanosuke in a while.
Well, where was Vegeta's pride during this?
But ignore you. Continue on with Rurouni Kenshin. But pretty much we learned that they apparently caught one of the 10 swords of Shishio's group, and it was the dude with the broom head. Wait, is that what they called him? Or was I mean, like, it was a guy who had all the swords like on him, and the one sword that wrapped around his body. And then we learned from him after Sanosuke kind of like punches him one time. Like no, he what happens is he gets hit by him with the ankle ball on his ankle, and Sanosuke just like stands there and takes it, and apparently that scares the crap out of him, and he's like, okay, I'll just tell you about it. Like after that, you better leave me alone. And we first learned Shishio's plan, which is to set all of Kyoto ablaze and then build it up from the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was okay. Like now I don't remember this, but okay, this makes sense. I mean, do the same thing to the government that the government did to him. Yeah, do the same thing to the government that the government did to him. It was like, okay, that seems kind of like poetic in I guess an interesting way. You know, burn the government, they burn you. I thought that was interesting. Like it's like yes, I remember liking Shishio, so I can't wait to see a little bit more of him. I know you weren't on board with the whole idea that he's burning on the inside, but I think it's kind of interesting because I feel like this must be his supernatural ability that has to be on par with Kenshin's for Kenshin to even be in a fight with him, and there to be any like concern and worry about these two fighting. Because we haven't seen him do any sword techniques at all, or like show. I mean, he's supposed to be the manslayer after Kenshin, so we know he's skilled enough in the sword. We don't know what he's capable of. So I just think, based on the fact that Kenshin's got a sword technique that's freaking overpowered, like, and I guess in a really interesting way, I think they had to give him something to make the fight make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The burning on the inside will most likely lead to something ridiculous in the end. Is my suspicion. Because I've thrown me for a loop here. I don't remember a lot of the anime that I originally watched, so a lot of this is familiar, but also not familiar territory. Either way, yeah. I'm loving what they're doing so far. We found out what Shishio's plan is. Huh?
It's very lighthearted.
The episode, or are you talking about the season?
The fight with Sanosuke. The whole Sanosuke section of the episode was very lighthearted, I thought.
Well, except for him, his whole idea of the government, being evil, sacks of crap. Which is kind of funny considering what happened today in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like now they're like, I guess they're all gonna gather and meet up. We don't know where Kenshin is right now. I suspect that Kenshin is either just finishing up his training or is about to finish his training. I suspect that we will not see this final sword technique until it's required for us to see it. Is my suspicion. Um, whatever that technique is. I think it's about it. We're about to get into the seriousness of the season. I can't wait for. Uh, I'm really looking forward to that. And moving on really quick to a little bit of Diamond talk, as we typically do before we get into Dragon Prince.
Okay.
Again, another one of these shows that's finally starting to get into nitty gritty. I think we're like 6 episodes away from the finale, so I'm glad things have picked up on the show.
Yeah, a little bit. Getting through to the first demon world wasn't a problem at all, huh?
I'm not gonna lie, a part of me was thinking there's no way they're gonna get through that light barrier, right? And then they start switching over to Neva, and I'm like, are we gonna find out he made the barrier? Ding!
You guessed it. You guessed it before the show revealed it.
Uh, yes and no. Yes, because maybe it was more like a guess on my part. I was like, there's no way they're gonna attribute this to him too, are they? That just make Neva a little bit too important. Like, um, like when I say no, I was like, yeah, I was like, no, there's no way he's not connected to the light barrier. Like, there's no way he's connected to the light barrier. Boy, oh boy, was I right and wrong. The more we go through this demon world, we learn so much more about where the Namekians come from and whatnot. And you know, now we got a little more context towards one of the reasons like why the Namekians really wanted to leave. People from the demon from the third demon world and the first demon world were coming in and just taking over. Like I would actually want to leave that too. Like, it makes a lot of sense. And then like Piccolo, I'm like, we getting the sense that Piccolo was picking up some things as he was watching Neva do his things.
I would think so, but like he's got part Kami.
That's what I mean.
No, I was wondering that too because he's part Kami. I was wondering if he's picking up on things. I'd love to see the two of them fuse.
That's where I want this to end. Because, one, because it'd be cool, but two, what this would do, because I've been wondering for a long while since, like, okay, they gave Vegeta Super Saiyan 3, which closes a hole within Vegeta's power structure that we were kind of curious about, that me and you had surmised that Vegeta knew how to do Super Saiyan 3, he just chose not to do it. And we were fine with that assumption, and I'm pretty sure a lot of fans were fine with that assumption. We didn't need to see it, but we got a chance to see it, so that closes the gap in power levels and stuff like that. So Vegeta, it makes sense that Vegeta would obtain Blue later on in the timeline. It just makes a lot more sense in the grand scheme of him powering up. So that was a cool like little filling in of power of the power structure that Vegeta had going on there. It gave Vegeta something too, and he was able to win a fight for the first time in a long while. Jeez. But there's also another power structure thing that, you know, needs to be fixed. And a lot of people probably say it's Gohan. No, it's not Gohan. I think Gohan's powering up makes sense as much as you can make it make sense. In the movie, they clarified apparently Gohan still had like vast amounts of unlimited tap potential that he just needs to learn how to tap into. And that's pretty much what Beast is. It's just his unlimited tap potential being controlled. But the one thing about that never truly made a lot of sense, even though it was cool to see, was Piccolo's power-ups. He got 2 of them. And as much as the dragon being the catalyst for it all, it kind of makes you wonder, like, has Piccolo always had this power level, this power just untapped in him, or did he gain it from someplace else? So if he fuses with Neva, that would make sense. And it would, if he definitely does have God Ki, which I mean, it'd be a cool thing if Piccolo got God Ki. I don't know if he did or does not. He might have a different type of power that's equivalent to God Ki that they couldn't sense, and maybe that's why. Who really knows? Because like Beast Gohan, he was described by Vegeta as like kind of like monstrous. It wasn't like, it was kind of like crazy. It was consistently moving, and it wasn't like normally God Ki or normal Ki. It was like a different type of energy.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, if if that's the direction they're gonna go for Piccolo, which will allow there to be an extraction of power from one side Piccolo later on in the show, Neva would actually be an interesting. Neva would have been an interesting catalyst for it. Though I don't know. Like, I mean, if Neva is responsible for that, that's cool. But I don't know. Part of me is like wondering maybe not. I mean, Neva doesn't seem like he wants to leave. Original Namek.
Yeah.
So I was like,
let's be fair, they're Namekians. Neva could live for thousands of more years.
the way Goma kind of seemed to put it, didn't seem like he had much longer time to live. I don't know. Tell me, I'll give you more. I'll give you
but
more.
But he plays a frail, crazy old man to Goma.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I just don't know. Like, it really hinges. A lot of what happens with Neva really hinges on what Neva's like in game is. Yeah. He isn't just following them to follow them. He's got something going on. Like, I don't know what his end game is. He doesn't seem like the type of evil dude. So I was like, I don't think he's evil. I just don't know what his end goal is. He says that, the Namekian dragon, I mean the demon world dragon speaks Namekian. Saying that's why they need him. But I don't know. It'd be funny to learn that, that dragon's bilingual. It'd be funny. And it'd be funny too if maybe the dragon did it on his own and like Neva just didn't know. I mean, those Dragon Balls have been sitting in place with the Tamagami for years now. So
yeah,
there's no telling what what the dragon did on his own or what happened. Yeah, the gang gets to the demon world. No, not on the first demon world, and they start flying in. Goma's panicking because he thought he had sealed them off. He sealed them off in the second demon world, and to precautionary sake, calls them their version of the Ginyu Force, and I hate them because I hate the Ginyu Force because all it is just a parody on Power Rangers or Super Sentai. That's really what they are.
100%. It was very silly.
I hate it. I hate them specifically because they're a parody on them and they just making fun of them. And I like those. I like those series. I haven't really watched any in recent years, but I still like them.
They're probably about as strong as the Ginyu Force was back then too. Which
I doubt it.
I'm saying that as it's not a good thing.
No, I believe that they're weaker than them. That's just my theory.
That they're stronger than the original Ginyu Force.
That they're weaker than the original Ginyu Force.
Well, I mean, either way, it's going to be so weak it doesn't matter. Remember, like, Tian and Yamcha were beating up the Ginyu Force in the afterlife.
That wasn't canon, was it?
I think it was.
Because you talk about when they were training with King Kai, right?
Right, and he invited the Ginyu Force over to his planet.
I thought that was filler.
Might have been filler. But either way, like in an episode of Dragon Ball Z, Yamcha and Tien were like beating the crap out of the Ginyu Force, so they're pretty much weaklings at that point.
Well, I guess with that kind of comparison, I think maybe then they had to be stronger than them, but not strong enough for them to be a problem.
Right.
I just don't like them. Like I'm prepared, and I'm prepared for them to disappear really quickly. Because like they're a parody of something that I like. And it's like I guess it's something I can say here. I noticed with Dragon Ball, specifically when it comes to parody of some things. Well, first of all, it's funny that I say this because like the idea of parody, Japan does not like it when Western countries parody their stuff. But they for sure will parody the heck out of their own stuff and take no issue with it. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But
I said yeah.
But because this is like their third time parodying stuff. There was a parody of Dragon Ball Super during the Tournament of Power when they were parodying the magical girl genre through Ribrianne. Uh, and I'm just like I feel so sorry for that particular genre because like they make some like decent anime. I mean I don't really tune into one particular show from that genre, because they include martial art fights in there. But
Yeah.
it's like it's that show and then Sailor Moon. Those two are probably the only really respected, I would say, at least globally respected shows from that genre of magical girl stuff. Prettier you are, the stronger you are. So it was just like it was very clear with Ribrianne the disrespect that was being handed to that side of the anime spectrum, and I felt really bad for some of them. It was like it would be kind of cool if Ribrianne was so annoying. Um, it gets really turned up to 1,000 in the dub. I actually got just to listen to a little bit of it too. I was like, I feel sorry for that woman's voice, that voice for Ribrianne. The amount of loud screaming from that particular character was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just bring that up as like it's clear that the parodying is just like.
They probably had a great time with it though.
I mean, I sure hope so. I sure hope she had lozenges, but that was just the English dub, and like the disrespect being shown to her just through the acting. I'm like, man, like it's sad because like I had high hopes for that universe, but then when they started talking and doing things, I was like, oh no, this is where we're going with this particular universe. Now you're gonna give them a little bit of respect. Nope. A part of me is like, I really want to see an anime just based off their world, because I also want to see why they act the way they do. Because it's got to be in world the reason why they act the way they do. No other way would explain their actions and whatnot. But same with the Ginyu Force and with the Gendarmerie Force, whatever. It's just obviously making fun of, the Sentai and Power Rangers subgenre, which doesn't get a lot of respect anyway because it's really aimed at little boys. But still, it's just like I enjoyed that growing up. Why you gotta make fun of it? I think it's part of the reason why I don't like the Great Saiyan Man thing. Cause it's like it's making fun of superheroes. I'm just like, really? Do we really need this in Dragon Ball? This is my immediate response. It's like, do we really need this in Dragon Ball? I think we can live without it. There's no reason for Gohan to be parading around in a cape. Other than the in-world built reason of like, I don't want to be seen and recognized by people. So Goku and the gang are now in the first demon world, and are now being attacked by every single gun up there apparently. And that's essentially where the episode ends. And I was just like, really? Well, at least now we're in the thick of it. So the next episode's definitely
Especially they are about all that gunfire too. They're just kind of like flying away.
Yeah, that is true. They're not really being hit by it. But at least we now know.
Raining gunfire, except exactly where they are.
I mean, they're just as bad as stormtroopers. Who knows?
Worse.
But
stormtroopers just come kind of close.
It depends on who the stormtrooper is. But
a stormtrooper will miss by less. Let me put it that way.
I mean, the Gendarmerie forces are the real threat they're supposed to be dealing with at some point, which I think is next episode. You may mention the Borg.
Let's just call them the Ginyu Force from now on.
I don't know. I feel like that's disrespectful to the Ginyu Force. I mean, I like them.
Easier to remember than having to remember a new enemy name. Gendarmerie's Force? Gendarmerie? How do you pronounce it?
Gendarmerie Force?
Gendarmerie Force?
Let's just go with that and won't talk about it again. But they're in the thick of it and having fire rain down from the heavens. That's what the episode pretty much ends. And the next episodes are, I'm guessing, going to be in the thick of action for a while there. Which I mean, like, okay, it's about time. We're like 6 episodes removed from the ending of the Dragon Ball Daima, so there's that. And also, Dragon Ball Super manga returns next month. Not sure when, but for people who read the manga like I do, that's coming back next month. So there's that. Uh, as for the anime, they sound like they're teasing that there's another movie in the works. I'm guessing. So there's that as well, I guess. Either that or they're teasing something with the anime. I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're doing with the anime because they're very tight-lipped about that. They were tight-lipped about that before Akira passed, and they're still as tight-lipped about it post Akira's passing. And in March
Yeah,
will be like a full year since he's passed. So
that's sad.
yeah, it is. Rest in peace, Akira. Um, so with that, now we can talk about the other thing in the room. Uh, Dragon Prince, and we can try to wrap that up within 20 minutes, I guess. I was gonna say 5, but I was like, I don't think we can talk about happening. 5 minutes. First, I want to talk about something I was not aware of that you brought attention to me. Was that I was understood when you had told me about the transgender thing. I was not aware. Well, at first, I thought maybe it was just a voice actor who was trans, but no, I didn't realize that Terry was also trans. And you had told me that in wording. It didn't come across to me in the typing. I actually had to look into reading about him because I wasn't aware that he was trans. I was like, oh, that's the first instance of a trans man. In the show, I was not aware of it. That's interesting. And I was as the information was dropped, I started looking more at Terry's character design. It's like it almost seems very evident, kind of with the way his top kind of like shows a little bit of midriff and stuff like that. He got like a little small jacket on his shoulders. He's got like a one shoulder off shoulder pad up there. His pants typically kind of cut off at the calf. So it's almost very like they took female clothing and kind of tried to mellify it a little bit, but without taking away some of the feminine qualities that you wouldn't have noticed if you didn't know he was trans. I was like, oh. I started noticing that as I was watching the episode with him in it. I was like, oh. But I cannot take my eyes off any of the stuff right now. Because even like the shoulder pad, the one shoulder pad thing is something that's typically done on female armor. For some really weird reason, it's like they only have one shoulder pad on their armor. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I read into his like apparently he had always felt different. Well, she had always felt different, and at some point had come to terms of realizing that she, in her heart, she was male, even though she was in a female body. And apparently, all the elves, Earthflight elves, started making fun of her for it. So she's dealt with oppression back when she was she, instead of now he. Well, that's interesting. Information you would never know unless you looked into this character. I want to thank you for that because I did not know that, and I would never gone on a way to look that up either. Like, what led you to looking into that character bio anyway? Were you just looking around for information?
Jessie found it.
Oh,
Believe it or not. I don't know why she was looking it up, but she found it and sent it to me.
interesting, because I don't know why you would look into that. Maybe she noticed something. I don't know.
Jessie figured out the other girl was autistic, so she's always been really good at like being observant like that.
Yeah, like Terry just didn't come off. It was one of those things. Like I guess I don't know. Like I guess before I say something even more offensive, I guess there's no way to tell if somebody's trans, especially if they look convincingly enough one way. Why would you question it? Basically, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, like what would be a tell for a trans person? I guess there wouldn't be one. The only thing that would be a tell if they were to straight up tell you. That was interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So we have inclusions of gay couples, lesbian couples, autism, and trans identity now in this show. Like, I'm actually kind of curious because when that guy brought, I was wondering. I wonder if there's a character in Avatar that might have been trans. We were just never aware of it. Because creators typically like put things into shows that never get discovered for years, and no one really has a reason to discover it. There's something else that they make has something blatantly in there about it. So I was like, I wonder if there's a character like that in Avatar that we just didn't know about. But thinking about it, I mean, being real, I don't know if there would have been in Avatar. Maybe in Korra, possibly.
Yeah,
Like, I would think they would hide it in core for sure, but I don't know where they would put it. Who would it be in core? I guess is the next question. I was like, huh.
I don't know.
But
Do you feel like it was? So here's the thing: I have no problem with trans people
oh boy,
whatsoever.
oh boy, this
But
is not the way to start a sentence.
do you think that this inclusion of Terry being trans into the show might have been a little bit like forced?
Uh, um,
Is a fantasy realm with dragons and elves and stuff like that the the home of trans people? And if it is, would they be in transition, or would you just cast a spell and turn them into like? Because if they have magic, if it would have to be through magic, because medicine isn't as powerful in this world as magic is. So they'd be transitioning him through magic, but magic, I would assume, the way magic typically works, it would do it immediately. He wouldn't have to be in transition. So it just strikes me as like a little bit forced in there. Like they wanted to have a trans character and they decided to make a trans character, but like it's nice that it's subtle and everything like that. And I know it's like kind of a footnote right now, like Dumbledore being gay in Harry Potter. But
wait, what? Wait, what?
Dumbledore is gay in Harry Potter. It was confirmed. But like that's that kind of footnote where like it never really comes up in the actual content, but like it's mentioned, confirmed by the creators, kind of thing. Like Dumbledore doesn't do anything to reveal he's gay in the actual books, I don't think. But is that what it's going to be like with this, where it only exists because the creators like said that it exists, and it's nothing you'd never be able to confirm 100% from the show,
Well, he
or is it, or is it going to come up later where like he actually does admit to being trans in some way?
okay. You asked a lot of questions. I guess we'll have to address all these. Okay, so is it forced? Um, it really depends on one big factor, and we would only really know it based on Terry's creation notes. And what I mean by that is like if it's somewhere within mention when they created Terry, however long ago, when they created him, that like this was something that they were gonna like this was a part of his character, but they weren't intending to address it at all, and it only came up because of people asking about characters,
Yeah,
in like to the director themselves, and like but it was in their notes that Terry was this. I don't think it would be forced if that was the case. Now, if they were trying to appease some larger group here of trans people, because like I mean, one of the biggest things about the trans community is they're not really portrayed in a lot of media. Period. This is what it is. It is what it is. They're not. They're not. Nowadays, it's happening a little bit more. Granted, now with the incoming administration, who knows what's going to happen with media, fantasy media like that. But like, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go on the limb in the ledge here, saying I don't think it's I don't think it's forced, because I'm willing to bet that it was probably in Terry's notes. I'm willing to bet it was a situation like this. So come with me on the ride here. When they were making elves and they needed an Earth representation, or like Earth magic and whatnot, they were in the process of making Terry. It's possible. It's physically possible that maybe one person came in with a design for Terry, and probably was Terra. I'm suspecting that was originally Terry's name back when she was a girl. Uh, it would make sense kind of because Terra is totally a feminine name, but we're not gonna go on that tangent. Uh, when they made Terra, or whatever her original name was, because I think she goes by Terrestrius, is her name that she took for herself, well himself. But it's possible that they made when they originally made the character, she was a she, but then they decided to like, well, I don't like this. Let's change the character design up, and in the process of changing the character, they probably kept like the essence of the character the same, but they just put it into a different form factor. I'm willing to bet that maybe the transition happened during the character development, possibly. Because a lot of
yeah,
times, some characters change genders. I mean, and it's never used as like a as a vehicle to call them trans. A lot of characters go from male to female in any fiction when they're being created. But like the idea of incorporating transition as a part of a character's motivation and whatnot is a cool idea. Um, will a straight heterosexual person ever be able to relate to this person? Maybe not. For the most part, not really. But a trans person could. Based on the backstory they gave for Terry, they didn't go into any detail in those footnotes, but it's clear there was a story written for the point in time when Terry was a she. But I'm willing to bet that's not forced because I mean this show has a lot of inclusion of different. I mean, they're everywhere. There is like lesbians and homosexual couples everywhere in Dragon Prince. Like I mean, some of them they don't like literally outright put in your face, and some of them they do. Recently, it's been Rayla's parents.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't bother me in the least. And like, it seems much more naturally fit. It's just transgender is like a medical phenomenon, kind of like in a lot of ways, because like you actually go through the process of transforming your body into the opposite genders.
I just don't think because like this world, the world of Dragon Prince has literally been very inclusive. It's been, I would say outright inclusive of everything but heterosexuality. Now, I'm not saying that it's not present in the show because it is. It is. It's one of those things that doesn't have to be stated, obviously, but they have to make it clear that some relationships in that world aren't traditional, which is fine. I had no problem with that. It does seem kind of strange, like out of nowhere Terry is trans, but um it's possible somebody picked up on something about the character because again I'm willing to bet, and looking back on some of Terry's mannerisms, like it's like it is interesting, some of his mannerisms, especially this episode. He has a lot of mannerisms of a female character, hands out in front, polite, bending over in a polite way, mostly seen within Japanese culture of women that bow to people. It seems very clear, like okay, now these mannerisms might have been added into his character if he wasn't originally trans, but no one will ever know. And at the end of the day, I guess it's like it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just another piece of inclusivity that they added. Some people might call it forced inclusivity, but at the same time, you can't have your cake and eat it too. In some situations, you'll never really know unless the creator tells you, "All right, no, this changed during development." And it's possible that Terry easily could have been just a straight guy, and then they decided to maybe some things changed with his inclusion in the show, and they wanted to make Terry a little bit more prominent, so they just added this little piece in to Terry because maybe there was a spot in his background they never filled. I don't think it's a bad thing that he's the this is just a part of his character. Again, it's like as you said before, it's very subtle. Like again, it's the whole idea as you said before too about medical science and the whole transitioning your body.
Yeah.
Like in all reality, you would never know somebody in real life was trans unless they told you. Because I mean, they would look as natural as humanly possible. I've seen some, and it's like you wouldn't even know this unless that person told you. I've seen trans women, and like what's her name? He's a him now, but the guy who was on the women's football basketball team, Courtney Briner. I saw her post transition, and I tell you as much, I could not tell that was a woman. Like the voice was deep enough, and it was like they looked tall enough. It was ridiculous. I was actually kind of surprised. I was like, "That's Courtney Briner? That's definitely not what I pictured her to look like." And like I didn't know she was trans until like much later. And she's a black person, a black trans man. So it was kind of shocking with what the transition looks like. It's like it's very, people are up in arms about it, and I would say there's some things that I would say being in a relationship with somebody, I would think if you're trans, you should let that person know ahead of time before it comes out in bed later, and then you have a whole situation on your hands there. That is like they should. If you believe they should love you no matter what, then like I don't think you should hold on to that secret for too long. Is my thought on it. Other than that, it's like I had no problem in general. I mean, I don't have a problem there either, and I'm pretty sure most people who don't. It's just one of those things. Some people just don't want to be taken by surprise about something that they weren't expecting you to have or not have. But back to Dragon Prince. I just thought it was interesting. Is it forced? I don't think so. I'm willing to bet that there's some character footnote that maybe is one of those things where like Terry's original plot involvement was up to a certain point. The trans part was always a part of their character, but it was probably never meant to come up. And again, it never came up in the show. It still hasn't come up either. So I don't think it will. I don't think it's important to his character. But it was most likely brought up because somebody in an interview asked him about like inclusion about certain characters. It's kind of like the autism thing, like with Erebos' daughter. Like that wouldn't come up really anywhere in the show either. I mean, I guess it kind of did with what she was doing. I mean, everyone was talking about how she was special and how she was different, how she reacted, and then, but it was like her emotions and stuff like that, her reactions. Somebody who's really familiar with autistic children picked up on it almost immediately after looking at him, and like that still shocked me because I would have never known. I've never dealt with autistic people before, at least on one-on-one. Now I'm pretty sure I think I might have when I was a kid. I didn't know. And I was back in high school and I was in ninth grade. I don't even know where he's at right now, and I hope he's doing fine. But I would have never known. It's the same thing with homosexuality and lesbianism. You never freaking know. Is that wrong? No. You just live your life. The Dragon Prince, I guess, really quick. Okay, Queen Amaya, or human queen of the Fire Isles, Amaya. Her trying to save her wife's brother. It was. I feel like that entire interaction was just so funny. It's like Amaya made it quite clear that she doesn't care whether he lives or dies. She really only cares for her wife's sake only. It was like, I also like that she talks about how she was dealing with her own prejudices and she was trying to work past them, and it seemed like she might have worked past most of them by this point. Probably not all of them, but she was trying to compare herself to the queen's brother, and the queen's brother was just not taking the branch. She was just like, keep on giving him an olive branch and keeps on burning it away. Like, yeah. I was like, I don't like, I honestly truly legitimately want to know what happened to him, because he claims that she has fear to justify her beliefs, but he has knowledge. Like, so what happened? Like, what happened to him? Like, what? Like, was their mother's death like at the hand of a human? Or like, is there something we're not aware of? That apparently he's aware of. I had no idea. It doesn't make it seem like there's something that he's not telling anybody. He's hanging on to hatred very hardcore.
Who is this again?
The Queen Amaya's wife's brother.
Yeah, he seems irredeemable to me in all ways. I think that's the study of him in this as part of the story, is like, what do you do when the person won't accept mercy?
Well, I mean, they brought in his wife in at some point, and it seems like he may. I don't know. I can't say that because, I mean, she's clearly moved on.
Oh, I mean, the wife brought herself in. I think she's free to move about the world. She has full amnesty.
That's because she kind of came in and followed after them, and almost seemed like they may have brought her with them, but
they may have, but they certainly don't say it.
Well, she kind of came in and she was already like, she got a baby bump. I was like, good lord, how long has it been since it was cleared that you were pregnant? Like, geez, that baby kind of grew. But
yeah.
But it was just interesting how she kind of came in trying to sedate her husband, to get him to take forgiveness. And I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work or not. In some cases that does work, but like, he seems very, he seems very, set on having an heir to get revenge on, everybody. I was like, man, something happened to him. I'm not sure what happened to him. Like that part of the story is being held. Let alone Maya does not know what's happening in her original hometown, or anything going on with Callum or Ezran. I wonder like what will happen if she discovers that something's going to happen. But I mean, speaking of Ezran, we go back to the kingdom. You know, Ezran's like, you know, I guess resting, and then he gets a note, a letter from the girl from the kingdom of Duran, I think his name is Rune or Duran, about like the production of the weapons are coming along really nicely. Zim is concerned, as he should be, because like I mean these weapons are supposed to be able to attack dragons. But you know, Ezran, and I hate to say this, but Ezran says the thing that really concerns me the most is that we're only building these things to not have to use them. Who builds a gun to not use it? Who builds anything? Who builds the atomic bomb to not use it? People in high authority always say that this is just a safety precaution. We never hoped to use it. And a few years later, like there was a bomb in Hiroshima. Like,
yeah,
it's just like people have the good intentions, best intentions probably, some of the best intentions, but when a weapon's made, it's never made to not use it, and that concerns me within this case too. It's just like there's no way those are not gonna be used. Unfortunately, we only have so many episodes left, so I can't imagine a full-scale war happening right now. Which is going on too is like there's no way this is the end of the show series, like, right? There is gonna be another show at some point. Like they're like building up a lot right now. It's kind of ridiculous. There's no way they can end this now. But I guess we'll see. But
it would have to be pretty damn climactic, the last episode.
yeah, like there's no way they can end it now. So I'm like, I hope there's another show, unless they do something I'm not expecting. But yeah, with that going on, it's like, and I know Ezra's still holding on to his feelings of betrayal from Callum leaving. Speaking of Callum, we go back to Callum and Rayla, you know, back at the you know, at the Shadow Grove, the Silver Grove, and we just another lighthearted moment within the show. It's just really funny. You know, Callum's trying to like buddy up with like Rayla's parents, and I forgot their names, like Runan and Elf.
I don't know.
Forgot it. Like it's like Runan and something. I think it's Runan that like because Callum says like, oh, like nice place you got here, and he's like, you said that already. In fact, you said that already for like the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, dang, he's been here for 2 weeks. And I think it's him too. That's like an entire episode that we've been following them. It's kind of looked pissed at Callum the entire time because he's just giving him the shifty look the entire time. And I'm just like, is he not like Callum? Like, what's going on? The other guy seems to be really really gung ho about like having Callum here. And I'm starting also noticing too. I guess I gotta talk about this. I was noticing it. It seems interestingly enough to me that I never expected to see a gender role play out here, but it seems like the other elf with the longer hair on this guy is like shoulder length, whatever, kind of seems like it's taking on the wife role. I could be completely wrong about what role has in the relationship, but it seems like that's what he like the more motherly figure versus the other guy. I'm like, this is funny to watch play out. Helen cannot figure out like heads or toes with these people. And it's clear he can't. But he's trying his best.
Yeah, they have him like terrified.
I mean, one of them I think he just looks terrifying all the day time. The other one doesn't seem all that bothered by him and really wants to get to know him, but Callum is still too dang nervous. And then Rayla comes in trying to save him, and I was just like, this is really, really cute. Like they're having this happen right now. I'm like also kind of concerned what's gonna happen later, but I'm probably overthinking it. I'm hoping that's the case. But yeah, like, you know, then Rayla kind of brings up like maybe they should have like a little feast festival thing, and then Callum decides to help babysit the bear cubs, I guess whatever they're calling the tiger clubs or whatever. You know, for I forgot his name. This is gonna bug me. Where's my phone? I always like to know these people. Like it's Runan and whoever. I forgot his name. Runan and Athari.
Okay.
I think it's
You
a
feel better?
not really. Just kidding. Just kidding. Um, that Runan looks like, and then we just. I think it's Athari who I'm keep mentioning. Who's like very hospitable to. I think it's like Athari who's been very hospitable to Callum. But Callum ends up babysitting the tinier Moonshadow Elf children, and then as like as kids are, and as the little girls typically are, very curious and very insightful about when people are in love, whatever. And she keeps like prodding Callum into coming out that he loves Rayla, and then for whatever reason goes further with it and he gets him to blurt out that he wants to like have 10 children with her, and then uses that and shocks Rayla and causes like Rayla's parents to just bust out laughing, which I thought was also pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of have to explain all that to her in private. It's like, that's not what I meant. That was just the thing. Asking questions. I was just asking questions. But, I thought that was pretty kind and cute. I think. And then later on, they had their family get together, and Callum like eats all their food, and then he eats Rayla's, I guess, dessert, and he just goes on I guess, a taste adventure in his mouth, dancing with the slice of cake that he was eating. Which I thought was really interesting. That I was like, huh, they're really playing with the whole playful nature of all this. And then like Callum and Rayla like are having their alone time together, and they're like looking up at the sky. And Callum makes mentions like, I think I can do this. I think I can live here. I was like, I guess that's true. He can't go back to Zadia. I mean, he can't go back to the castle, like, or at least not right now. Kind of ran out on his brother. I don't think Rayla's gonna allow him to do that though. He's probably like telling him like, you need to, be with your family and whatnot. We'll still be together and whatnot, but you can't leave the human society. But I guess we'll see what happens. They're holding hands and whatnot, enjoying each other's time. Then like the elf from the tower all those episodes ago kind of comes swooping in to tell them about like what Erebos is doing. That Erebos is free, and that he's gonna be bringing in eternal darkness. I guess it's back up to Terry lets Ezra know that Erebos is alive too, after some back and forth and not trusting each other. Events happening. Um, Ezra kind of gets the a-okay that Terry's okay from the birds that Terry was taking care of. I forgot that Ezra can talk to birds, so when it happened, I was like, "Oh, that's right, he can talk to animals, right?" I completely forgot about that because he hasn't used it for a while. I mean, I guess he technically uses it all the time with Zim, but that's more like telepathy than anything else. Uh, but then like Terry lets him know that that's right, Erebos is free. You don't know about that, and he's trying to usher in an area of darkness. He's gonna bring all the people from the in between back, and Terry's like, I will help you, but you have to guarantee me that you won't hurt Claudia. It's like, okay, it's clear that he's still in love with Claudia. They make a truce, add a tree with sap that they won't hurt her. And then he's like, well, right now, like, she her crux is she has love to justify everything. So like they're trying to figure out like what's the best course of action to talk Claudia down. And then Terry brings up the mother, and then that causes Soren to say, I don't like, no, I don't want to talk to her. She left us, which is like, okay, it's clear that there's still some resentment, especially from Soren there. And I think we talked about this like episodes ago, back when this was revealed about where the mother was and stuff like that. was like, yeah, it's like it's understandable Soren doesn't want to talk to her, but it's sad that okay, it's come down to the mother now that the father's dead. Like, I guess my biggest question before we end this here is like, do you think the mother is gonna really be able to talk Claudia down from all this?
It'd be an interesting attempt. She's got to go up against Erebos. That's going to be difficult.
Yeah,
Like the
that's
other voice whispering in her ear will be Erebos, who's a master manipulator so far.
You didn't hear that. I was whispering, "Come to me, Claudia," but
I thought you were using your porn voice about that.
huh?
I thought you were using your porn voice. I didn't
I'm
know Claudia was your type.
sorry, I don't have. So what the heck is with you?
How am I supposed to know whether you do?
I just said it. I don't have one. I'm not sure even what that is. I know what that is. Don't have to explain it. Please don't explain it. But but yeah, pretty much Claudia. The mother. Like it's gonna. I was like, okay, so the mother. They're actually gonna involve the mother, which I guess makes sense. They brought her up, and then Varen's dead, so that's the only parental figure that they have. It's interesting they're gonna include her in the final season of the show, though. I was like, huh. I guess we'll see what that ends up being. I suspect that Soren's gonna unload a lot of his issues on top of her, onto her when they see her again. I'm actually kind of curious, if she's even gonna want to. This other thing too is like, the mother knows what she did, so I suspect that she's not gonna like think she deserves to talk to her children. I will say that it's nice to see Ezra's kind of thinking and trying to be amicable, not be all vengeance first, ask questions later. I hope that means that Ezra can eventually be talked down from an all-out scale war, but we'll see if that's gonna happen or not. But I guess with that, that's all I can say about the topics. Unless you got anything else you want to add on, or
I
yeah,
like geraniums.
what?
I like geraniums.
You heard it here, folks. He likes geraniums. I don't know.
Just wanted to
Has
say something that wasn't controversial.
how you know that wasn't controversial?
I don't. I'm trying to not be controversial, at least.
Um. Okay, on that January 20th, we will end the podcast here. But seriously, we're gonna end it here. People in the United States survived him once. We'll survive him again, I hope. And I hope we'll come out of this stronger. Screw it, I can't even believe what I'm saying. Good night, folks.